Okay, so there's many reasons and opinions as to why you should not homeschool your children. And one of my reasons is in 4th grade, the song Chicken Fried by Zach Brown Band had just came out, and for about a week straight, my whole class would sing that whole song together, and we drive our teacher nuts. And that's not the point of it, but it's just the fact of you can have very close-knit relationships, and when you're in a public school with friends and you see everybody every day, and I don't think that happens really when you homeschool your kids. So, like I said, I've been fortunate enough to wake up every day for almost 13 years and come to school that I enjoy, not technically the learning aspect of things, but just the being around a nice staff and getting cooked meals that are, above average when it comes to schools, and just being around people that, make you smile, make you have a good day. You could be having a bad day at home and you come to school and you get to see those people, and it kind of makes you have a better day. So some things that so we'll get into the disadvantages of homeschooling. The first one is that there are a lot of significant disadvantages, like the amount of sacrifices that it takes for your parents and yourself to be homeschooled. It's a big stress on your parents because it's physically, emotionally, and financially a big job to do when they have to, go and work their own job to make money and provide for their family, but then also have that one person who stays home and educates their child every day. That takes a stress on the family. And so when you have only one person more than likely bringing home a income that can also be not very good, and you wouldn't be making as much money by homeschooling your child. And it's a constant flow. You always have to be with them every day when you're teaching them, and then you don't really get to go home from school. You're still with them, and it's not a bad thing to be around your family 24/7, but people need a breather every once in a while, and I think school kind of gives that to the child and the parent. Another disadvantage is the cost. Like I said before, more than likely if you're going to be homeschooling your child, you're only going to be bringing in one income, and that other parent is going to be bringing in the income while you are homeschooling. And so it can start to be very expensive. All the tools you need to have for homeschooling, the supplies and things like that, it starts to add up and it gets very expensive. And approximately $600 for each child a year to be homeschooled. And you can still take them on field trips and things like that when they're homeschooled, but like I said, you're not going to have as much fun when it's just you and your parent, because you can do that all the time. Going on field trips and things like that with your class is something that you can always remember and a fun time to look back on. The next thing is it's a burden of homeschooling is hang on. It's very stressful on parents and the child because you have to be around your family all the time, and your parent has that one big job of making sure that you learn everything that you need to know, to be successful in life. And your parents, more than anything, want you to be successful, and so it's really stressful on them to be thinking, am I teaching them the right things? Am I doing a good job? Are they learning everything they need to know? And it's just one of those things that is very stressful and kind of hard to do every day. Homeschooling is a full-time job, like I've said. It kind of rearranges your whole life because you have to kind of go around everything that you want to do in homeschooling. It takes up your personal life and your family time, because you're technically having family time while you're homeschooling, but it's kind of on a different level, and it just tends to become a lot. Some other things you have to consider are the resources, like I said. So, like I said, you're losing that second income when you homeschool, unless you are sending your kids to be homeschooled in another place, that's a different story, but for the most part, you are teaching your child at your house, and that one parent is doing all the teaching. And so you're losing that second income, and it can be very hard on a family to survive and get by with just one income, depending on the job of the other spouse. But yeah, it's just like having a stay-at-home parent. Sometimes it can be very hard, and like I said, homeschooling is very expensive. A big thing when it comes to homeschooling is social interaction, time that you're missing out on. When you come to school, you're around many people every day, and so you get that social time and the time you get to just be around everybody. And when you're at your house, you get that couple people that you're around every single day. Excuse me, and just kind of you don't get that social interaction, and you tend to kind of I don't think I'd be as outgoing as I am if I was homeschooled and was only around my mom and my siblings every day. I think that being around different people every day kind of brings you out of your shell and helps you experience things that you normally wouldn't experience if you're just by yourself or around the same people every day. Because even though you do go to the same school every day, you're not around the same people every single day for the most part. I mean, you're in the same classes and things like that, but you see different people, you see different teachers in the hallway. So that's kind of a big thing there. Another thing that people that are homeschooled tend to have is regret that they missed out on things, prom or senior skip day, things like that, that you would do with your class and things like that. That you wouldn't get when you're being homeschooled. So I think that some people kind of, I think after they're being homeschooled, it may not be a big deal at the time, but meeting people who have been went to public school and they get to talk about their experiences, I think that you can kind of look back with regret and think, did I do the right thing? It kind of would have been fun to go to public school. So as a parent, I think that's a big thing to look at for your kid, looking back with regret, because you don't want them to do that. Another thing is, like I said, you don't get much time to yourself as a parent or a kid. You guys are kind of always together and in each other's business. And as a kid, that's you don't want your parents always in your business. But then as a parent, you kind of want some time to yourself, because that's a big part of homeschooling is you kind of need that breather away from your kid because you're with them every day. And so that's an important thing to do, is to kind of have time for yourself and maybe take some time, go on a vacation, take a girls' day or something like that, and just get away, because you need that time. Because planning and preparing for all the things you have to do during homeschooling is a big thing. The next thing is testing for homeschooling. Their state laws vary among states, but they have some pretty strict rules in some states for homeschooling, and so you need to look at those depending on what state you live in. But 22 states require testing or offer testing as one of several assignment alternatives. There's no proof that a student being homeschooled in states that requires testing do better or worse in states that do not require oversight evaluations. And testing is not required annually in all states. So it's kind of one of those things that you need to look at. And passing requirements are typically pretty low, so homeschoolers have no problem passing or continuing to homeschool. And so on that, I think that you are getting the best education probably by going to a public school and learning everything, because it's kind of hard to, as a parent or the homeschooler, to get everything crammed in and teach them everything that they need to know. And if a child falls behind the required score, the homeschooler is put on probation, depending on what they think is necessary. And if the child falls back again, he or she may be sent to public or private school, where the family may need to hire a tutor. And Hawaii is one state, the only state actually, that homeschool parents are threatened with educational neglect charges based on test scores. And so I think that's kind of you need to look at that, because it's kind of a strict thing, and you need to kind of be aware of those things. But like I said, giving your children the best education that is possible is a key responsibility as a parent, and I think that homeschooling isn't a bad option, but I think just being in public school is a much better option for them when you look at all the long-term things. Thank you.
I'm sorry I was talking in the middle.